Greetings and salutations. Thanks for clicking on the video. I was just playing around with my new installation of Linux Mint. No, it's not Linux Mint, actually. This is Ubuntu 14.04. It just kind of looks like Linux Mint because of the fact that I'm running the Cinnamon desktop. I have a friend of mine who is a client, sort of Easy Linux, and I switched him over to Ubuntu about 2 weeks ago, and he'd been running Linux Mint for a long time. And I say client because I support his Linux, but he doesn't pay me. You know how that goes. Anyway, still love you, man. But anyway, I switched him over, and he said, I like Ubuntu just fine. I just have a hard time getting used to the Unity desktop because he had been using Linux Mint for a long, long time. And at first I told him, I said, well, you'll get used to it, you know. Because I kind of like Unity. I've never had a big problem with it. And then I got to thinking about it, and I realized maybe we could install the Cinnamon desktop onto Ubuntu 14.04, and that way he could have the benefits of having the authentic Ubuntu system and still get his Cinnamon goodies as well. So I got to playing with it last night, and I tried it in a virtual machine first. And it worked so well that I decided, you know what, I'm going to go ahead and put this on my main computer because I like the Cinnamon desktop. I think between Unity and Cinnamon, it's an even tie for me. There are things about each one that I like, and this way you can have the best of both worlds. So let us go ahead and show you how this works. Now, to install it, follow the directions that I have pasted in the description of this video below. It's 3 lines of code. Open up a terminal, copy and paste them in, and run them one at a time. And you should get the Cinnamon desktop all installed on your Ubuntu. When it is through installing, restart the computer. Totally shut it down and bring it back up. And you're going to see that you'll have a new button here, a little thing that shows up on the greeter. And this will allow you to choose between Unity. You get some GNOME choices here too. I wouldn't bother with that. You can choose Cinnamon. It'll automatically come up on Unity, but just choose Cinnamon and then log in. And it takes a second to get started here, mainly because we're running in a virtual machine. Here we go. Voila, you have the Cinnamon desktop. You will not get this background. It'll be the standard GNOME 3 background because the Cinnamon desktop does not come with any stock backgrounds. That's something that is provided by Mint. So if you're used to going into Mint and they have all of those really cool wallpapers in there, that's something that comes with the operating system itself. It's not part of the Cinnamon desktop. So you'll have to choose your own background. I did. I just drug a picture in here so I had something cool to look at. I like darker backgrounds, and the standard GNOME is a bit light. And you can come in here and open up settings, and you can set up your desktop. I've made the fonts a little bit bigger because it makes it easier for me to see. As far as the theme is concerned, it's pretty close to this. The only desktop theme that you'll get is Cinnamon. I have downloaded a few more just by following this link right here to play with, because I was playing with this in the virtual environment first, and then I put it on the big machine. That way I knew what I was doing. So you can come in here and play around. And if you decide that you don't like it, then all you have to do is when you log out, you can choose to go to the Unity desktop, which is Ubuntu default. And the next time you boot up your computer, you'll be back to the exact same Unity desktop you were used to, and all of your settings will still be there. And then you could just go and remove the PPA and uninstall the Cinnamon desktop if you want to go so far. But I have a feeling that if you are going to install Cinnamon, you'll probably stick with it, or at least switch back and forth, which is kind of what I plan to do. In the past, I have installed desktops alongside of other desktops on Linux distributions and had some issues where some of the configuration files would conflict and cause problems. So far, this has not happened here, which is really cool. You do get a couple of weird things going on, though, because just because of the fact that the desktops use some different tools. So we're going to open up the home folder here, and this is an application called Nemo, which is the Mint file manager, and Ubuntu uses an application called Nautilus. So you actually have two entries here for files, and this is Nautilus. It's the one you're used to seeing, and this is Nemo. So we have two different file managers. I have always liked Nemo, just a touch better, so I'm kind of glad to have it. Nemo has some pretty cool features, like it tells you how much disk space is being used on the different hard drives on your machine. I have 3 on this machine, and it's showing that here. It handles the network a little bit differently. So Nemo is pretty awesome, actually. I have nothing bad to say about Nemo. But what I have found is that a file manager is a file manager is a file manager, and it really doesn't matter which one you use. I've used Kaja and Thunar and Nemo and Nautilus and whatever the one that KDE uses, Dolphin. And Dolphin's really awesome. I wish you could, well, you could put Dolphin on your Ubuntu machine, and then and that's a lot of work. It's a lot of worry. So you get a couple of extra things there. You might notice 2 of something, and that's just because each desktop uses its own tool, but not that big of a deal at all. And it installs nicely. So if you would like to get some minty goodness into your Ubuntu and try out the Cinnamon desktop, this is how you can do it. I plan on kind of just leaving it this way. Now what's interesting is that Cindy's account is also on this machine, and she really doesn't care what desktop she's running, so on hers I didn't change anything. So when she logs in, she's going to get her Unity, and then she'll be happy because she'll be familiar with that. And if I decide to install this on other computers in the house, I think I'm just going to keep it for me, because I seem to be the only one who likes Cinnamon. Thanks for watching the vid, gang. Good luck. I'd love to hear your comments. Let me know how this works for you. Give it a shot and tell me what you think. Thanks for listening and watching.